welcome back once again to the Single Malt Review, and we're ridden with cats, ridden and riddled. There's another one almost out of shot that you may make an appearance. We'll see. So twice as nice or 2 times too many. Depends how you feel about cats, I suppose. Oh, he's off. He's gone. Where's he? Never mind. We shall see. What are we actually doing here? We are actually looking at Jamesons. You've brought along what's well, it's slightly mind-bending to see such a small bottle of Jamesons. It's one of these ubiquitous litres that you see knocking around. It's odd seeing a mini and not being on an aeroplane. Yeah. But
we have tried some of the quirky and unusual Jamesons, or the exotic cask finishes, or other unusual expressions, but we haven't gone for the OG, the classic, Jameson's, the original recipe.
A bit of an omission, really. And we did pledge, after being routed by Irish whiskey after Irish whiskey, being unable to see them coming and guess them properly during our Christmas blind tasting series, which if you haven't seen you should go and check out, because we had a tremendous amount of fun filming it, and I think there's some quality stuff in there. We even get some of them right, imagine that. But it became pretty apparent that our knowledge and our fluency with Irish whiskey was maybe not quite as up to scratch as our knowledge of the old Scotch whiskey, which is fair enough. We're not Irish whiskey experts over here, nor are we really Scotch experts, but it's certainly where we live in terms of stuff we typically get around to. So, as Dave said, we've done pretty much every other Jameson under the sun. Why not actually do OG Jamesons? Jamesons ask Jamesons. Yeah,
so we've got a mixture of grain whiskey and pot still malt, and it's been matured for at least 4 years.
Yeah, so that's a guarantee of sorts.
That's what we need to know. And Mingus has had enough. He is away.
He's out. No, he's just going to sit there. Never mind. So, Jameson's pretty much it's the Johnny Walker of Irish whiskey. It is the monolith, the great.
It's the omnipresent blend.
It sails through the sky and controls the tides of Irish whiskey. It is that ubiquitous. So anyone not familiar with it, I guess congratulations. And also, check what year it is, because we've probably stolen a time machine and gone Back to the Future or something. I don't know how anyone would not be familiar with Jamesons, but in case you're not, we are here to help. We are going to taste it and see what's going on.
They have been in business since 1780, so
indeed.
You would have had to have been around a long time to not remember.
Critically, this comes from the Middleton distillery. Was this a Scotch whisky product, and it was named by its point of origin? This would be Middleton, but Irish distilling being a bit more American in its style, they have a few mega distilleries which produce a mega clutch of brands. But the spirit from this comes out of Middleton, and it's pot stilled and continuous stilled, as that one suggests. Pot still being very, very, very close to Scotch single malt, but distilled the same way, same stills. But the composition of the grain is a bit weird in that they use a portion of malted barley and a portion of unmalted barley, and just rely on the malted barley to sort of do the work in the mash, which it does. And the reason why they do that is due to tax dodging, like so many things a very long time ago. But you can go down your own wiki hole on that one if you want to know more.
It's gone from being a method of minimising taxes to just a hallmark of how this kind of whiskey is made. So.
And it does make a different style, as we will discover because of this. I like to think we would have seen this one coming. This is very Irish on the nose.
It is a very genteel and accommodating nose. It reminds me of a buttered, grainy toast.
Yeah, it's gentle, but it's quite peculiar. There's aniseed in here.
There is a bit of spice and a bit of herb,
quite a bit of, there's almost there isn't ouzo in here, but if you picture ouzo in your mind, nosing this.
I don't honestly get that, but I can kind of see where you're getting that impression from, or why it's doing that for your palate.
And there's a real funky minerality, there's a flintiness to this, and it's all really, really, really clean and really, really fresh, but it's not hugely fruity. As you said, buttery. It's quite buttery and grainy and mentholy, almost a bit of eucalyptus kind of really hanging around on the edges. It's quite a strange nose if you're not sort of ready for it, and we're never particularly ready for Irish whiskey, so it is quite an experience. So I don't know, 40% obviously, chill filtered and I don't know, probably coloured, radiant,
yeah.
glowing, colour smoking off this one. But, yeah. So, on the palate.
It's a little bit of a flash in the pan. It's there and then it's gone.
It's pretty slight. I'm going to say there's a lot more going on in the nose for me.
There's some interesting lingering citrus notes here. I'm getting mandarins, satsumas to some of you. A little bit of that sweet, really soft citrus juice. There's a little bit of orange, maybe some cloves. There's quite a bit happening there. None of that buttery, grainy breadiness that I got on the nose.
Yeah.
But it's
the palate and the nose is really quite divergent. That unease that I got, I guess the stony flintiness, that's really coming through. The eucalypt is completely gone.
I am getting the aniseed now, but a little bit of a hint of Irish moss.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, there's somewhere in the distance. There's sort of an old-fashioned kind of bottle of cough syrup in the tasting notes for.
Almost harkening back to the old days when whiskey might be prescribed.
I have to break and adulterate this one. You keep them talking, Dave. I'm going to be a few seconds here.
Jameson's always popular for mixers. It is great with all the usual suspects, ginger ale, probably Coke. I've never tried it that way, but yeah, we're finding it's good on its own. Tim is going to get one of the classic mixers to try something a little different, I'm sure. But it is surprising how much is actually going on here. It is so easy to write off things which are just so ubiquitous and so popular, so widespread, and economically available. But, what's Tim got? It is a tumbler with ice.
I'm doing it, Dave.
the old, the classic cocktail of 1 part whiskey and 1 part ice cube. Yeah.
Getting around to it. We'll need the auxiliary supply.
Going deep. Yep.
I feel this is how Jameson's is, shall we say, typically enjoyed. When not being enjoyed straight from the bottle, coming out of a brown paper bag. This is probably Jameson's natural habitat, so we're going to see if this does anything to it.
I always wish I brought some chilled ginger ale with me, because that would be the other classic Jameson's format. But now this would go well into a more, possibly a more boutique cocktail as well, something with more rarefied ingredients.
I quite like Jameson's with a whiskey sour.
Right.
I think, because it's such a gentle whiskey, it's not great for really, really whiskey-dominant cocktails, but ones that have fruit in them. You're there for the fruit at that point. You're not really there for the whiskey per se. And a whiskey sour has quite a lot of moving parts. There's egg and fruit and all sorts of nonsense going on in there. And I think Jameson's is pretty perfect for that. Otherwise, I haven't really experimented. But as you say, the old cocktail of ice and water, give that one a smell. That one's on a hot summer's day like this. I agree. That's how I would also have my Jameson's.
Oh, that's good. That is downright refreshing. It's extremely fruity too. All those sort of citrus notes, they're just exploding and bringing in some mango and apple with them.
That's really very fresh.
Yeah.
I can enjoy way too much of this in a very small space of time, given how deeply fresh it is. Okay. I'm going to score it based on this. I'm going to say this is the environment for it, and pretty solid old dram for me. It's 79.
Yeah.
Considering we're going way down to the bottom of the shelf, we're going off the shelf into those just cardboard boxes that they've ripped open and chucked a special label on because they can't even be bothered putting them on the shelf. That's the price category for Jameson's. So, 79, not a massive score, but pretty good for a, pay as you go, cost you very little, by the litre whiskey. What are your thoughts on it?
This is an easy and comfy 76. There is quite a lot of flavour here for something which is just an omnipresent, so wildly, massively produced and available blended whiskey. Yeah,
like it. We've liked the weird Jameson's adjunct, and it turns out the original
has
the OG
too. Yeah,
nothing wrong.
It's not going to be a flavour sensation or a transformative whiskey experience or whatever, but for what it is, the most popular and abundant Irish blended whiskey in the world, I'd say, without having looked at the numbers.
I'd say that's got the top
plenty
spot.
To recommend it.
Alrighty. Oh well, that was that one. Now it's time for a back-to-back Irish, I think, unheard of, unless we're pulling them out of a calendar. I think did they do a back-to-back? I think they did.
I believe so.
Pummeled us with 2 Irishes in a row. Never mind. Alright, Slanger, we will be right back with another one. Stick around.